Hello boys and girls and boys. Today I'm back with another video and there's a few things that I must address. First of all, yes, I did get a haircut, thank you for asking. Also, yes, I did shave my face completely, which is the first time I've done that in like 3 years. It tingles, it stings, it feels numb. Also, yes, I am making a drum kit, a free drum kit for you guys to download, which will be in the description below of this video, or maybe it won't be. It depends on if I finish with it or not, which I probably won't now that I'm thinking about it. Okay, so no more horsing around. Let's get right into this video.
Wherever you go, whatever you do.
So yeah, basically in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make your own drum kits or drum sounds inside of FL Studio. Because basically a while ago when I was trying to figure out how to do this, I saw like one video on it and it was pretty crappy. It was just not well made, and then the other ones didn't really have what I was looking for. So hopefully this is what you guys are looking for. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. So basically the first thing that you want to do is you want to pull in any sound that you want to edit or alter or make different or make your own. I'm going to pick this little hi-hat here. And now I'm going to show you guys all the different tools that are at your disposal to create your own kind of sounds. So we have this hi-hat here, and all these different thingies here are different tools that you can use to make the sound your own. So there's this trim here. This trim you can usually turn all the way up because the trim usually just cuts out the stuff where there's no noise playing. Also, the sample start. Some FL Studios might not have the sample start. I think it's a newer thing. I think it's an FL20 thing. It doesn't really do much. It kind of just creates the same sound, but different at a different place. Also, the in kind of makes it softer. It kind of just like lowers the attack on the hi-hat or whatever sound that you have. Basically, the two most useful things are this out right here. It makes your hi-hats or makes whatever sound you have shorter, so that's pretty useful. This crossfade also can make like a unique like shaker effect, if you're into that. Also, this pitch right here is the second most important thing, actually probably the first most important thing, and it makes it so you can pitch your sounds up or down. Normally you're gonna be pitching them down, because pitching them up makes them sound a little weird. But yeah, and then also you can reverse them, which this doesn't do anything here, but you can normalize it. The normalizing doesn't do anything usually either, unless it's like a sample. But yeah, if you go over to this tab here, there's some other more important stuff. This pogo effect, it kind of just makes it sound weird. The stereo delay, if you turn it up too high, it just sounds weird, but if you turn it up like a little bit, it gives it kind of a cool like stereo effect. Also, there's two different kinds of reverbs, this one and this one, but I never use that because I could just use the regular reverb and make it sound exactly how I want. Usually the boost, you want to have the clip on because you don't want to blow out your headphones or speakers or whatever. And then the boost you can turn up and it makes it sound like distorted or, you know, whatever. EQ, you can just use a regular EQ if you need to EQ something. This resonance could make it sound kind of cool if you want. But yeah, that's pretty much the extent of these tools here. But yeah, once you have it sounding the way that you want, and granted that you don't want to add any effects or anything to it, like if you don't want to add any reverbs or anything, what you can do is, you're pretty much done right now, is you can just right click and do save as, and then just save it to whatever folder you want to save your sounds to. And then you're done with that sound. So yeah, I'm done with this hi-hat basically. So yeah, it sounds different from the sound that you started with. So this is the original and this is ours. It sounds completely different. So yeah, you have just created your first sound. Congratulations. So yeah, basically I'm just gonna make like one of each drum sound and show you guys the process behind it. So yeah, that was a hi-hat. Hi-hat done. Next, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a snare maybe. So usually what I do is I'll pick a few different snares, because having just one snare and editing it a little bit kind of sounds too similar to all the other really popular snares out there. So yeah, basically I found 3 different snares that I would like to use, and I think they'll sound pretty good together. So yeah, they sound like this at the moment, but we're gonna change them a little bit. So usually what I like to do for this is I like to select all of these little rectangles by clicking and dragging, and then do Control L, and then it'll assign all of these to a mixer track. forget about this one. I'm gonna reset that. So yeah, I'll assign these all to a mixer track, and then I'll usually do something like this, so that it will just play while I'm listening to it. Or you can do just like one of these if that's too fast for you. So now you can just like loop it over and over while you're editing the sounds. So yeah, first I'm gonna mess with this one. What I think I wanna do is I wanna pitch it down a little bit. And then I'm going to boost it a little bit. Turn that out up just a little bit. Then I'm gonna move on to this next one. This one I'm going to turn the trim way up because there's a lot of empty space. And then this one I'm gonna boost a lot because I like this sound. It's kind of like a weird slap noise. So I'm gonna put that as kind of like the main sound. Then I'm gonna pitch it down just like one. And then I'm gonna mess with this third sound. This one's really quiet, so I'm going to put the clip on and boost this one. And then I'm gonna pitch this one down like 3. Okay, so that's a pretty standard example. There's a lot more things you can do with it. Like if I wanted to go in here and add a reverb to this one. A lot of times with kind of newer trap, you don't hear a lot of reverby drum sounds. But, you know, whatever you want to do is fine. Also, you can EQ it if you want. Some of these have like some lower frequencies. If you want to clean it up a little bit, that's perfectly fine. Also, maybe you want to like distort it or do whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter. I'm going to put a soft clipper on the master. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put an Edison on the master. And then I'm going to hit this record. And then I'm going to hit this up here. And now it has recorded our new sound. You can left click and drag to where the sound starts and ends, and it doesn't have to be perfect because you can turn the trim up when we put it into the channel rack. But now you have basically all these 3 sounds into one sound here. So yeah, now if you would like to, you can select these and then Alt delete and then delete that. So yeah, now we have Snare. So yeah, now what we can do, because once you pull sounds out of Edison, a lot of times you're gonna be really quiet. So I'm gonna turn the trim up automatically. Usually I just do that like on instinct. But as you can hear, it's kind of quiet. I'm gonna hit this clip and then boost. So now it's loud again. And if there's anything else you want to do, like if you want to turn the out up a little bit, if you think that sounds better, or if you want to, like, for whatever reason, do one of these, or, you know, whatever you want to do, that's perfectly fine. But once you have it completo, you want to go right click, save as, and then boom, save it to wherever your drum sounds are. So yeah, we have now completed 2 different sounds, and we have kind of a simple pattern going on. Pretty standard so far. Next thing I'm gonna do, claps are pretty much the exact same thing. You could just combine different claps together, pitch them up, pitch them down. Another thing you can do is you can add percussion like to your snares or to your claps, and it'll give it like a different effect. A lot of times if you add a rim to a snare, it'll make it hit a lot harder, and you wouldn't even really kind of notice it. And so that's a good thing there. I think now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how to make your own 808s. I'm going to actually show you guys how to make your own 808s from scratch, and then I'm going to show you how to edit it from a sound that's already made. So I'm going to show you how to make 808s from the most basic 808 to ever exist. This one. So I'm going to do cut, and now I'm going to just I'm going to make this a little 2-step pattern. Whoa, not that. That is not what I meant to do. And then I'm going to put this all the way up. So now what we're going to do is we're going to, actually we can go into here and just reset all these so that there's nothing there. And then you can get rid of this Edison actually too. Now I'm going to assign this 808 to whichever mixer you want. And I'm going to assign both these two so that we can solo them out. Now we're going to focus on the 808. So there's a couple different things that you can do with the 808. What I did here, I didn't even mention it when I did it, but what I did was I turned the boost up. With your 808s, you don't have to clip them, because what I do is I use a soft clipper on the master, and when I record it into Edison, it will essentially do the same thing that clipping it here would do. So I usually just leave it. But most of the time for here, there isn't a lot you can do except for the out, just make it shorter basically. But yeah, in the effects, what I like to do is I like to go in here, and there's a new plugin in FL 20 point whatever the heck it is, called Destructor. And Destructor is a very good plugin. I was not sure about it at first, but it's a super good plugin for like distortion and stuff like that. And it also has like choruses and filters and stuff. It's got a ton of stuff. But I have these two presets here. I have this 808 distortion light, and that sounds pretty epic. It kind of slams your eardrums, which is pretty dope. And then I also have this one with no filter, and it kind of slams your eardrums as well. So yeah, it makes it pretty stereo. So if you don't want it as stereo, you can turn this. Another thing that you can do is this is a little tips and tricks for people who don't have this Destructor thingy. You can go to delay too, and you're gonna be like, wait a minute, why would I put a delay on my 808? But if you go in here to presets and then widen, turn this all the way up, it will sound wider, and that's pretty dope. Another thing that you can do is there's a plugin called Camel Crusher, which I would assume if a lot of you, if you're not a beginner, you probably have Camel Crusher. And then I like to go to this British clean, and then I like to turn off the filter and turn these down a little bit. And you can play around with the order of your delay in Camel Crusher too, to get a different sound. Because basically the way FL Studio's plugins on the mixer work is that the bottom plugin is like the last thing that collects all the other things. So it's kind of hard to explain, but I think the best way to explain it is with an Edison. So if you have an Edison on the bottom, it will record all the effects that are above it. But if you have an Edison on the top, it will record literally no effects that are below it. So yeah, it's kind of complicated, but I think you guys get it. Back to the 808. Right now it sounds like this. So yeah, whichever one you like best. Also, a lot of times I like to EQ my 808s, so you can cut out the low end, because a lot of these frequencies down up in here in this range that I'm cutting out right now, your human ear cannot even hear actually. So there's no point in having unnecessary frequencies down there. Also, you can kind of boost the mid area so that you feel the bass and you hear the bass. So that's a pretty important thing. Pretty much that is like the extent of what I will do with an 808. And then just put an Edison at the end here, and then click record, and boom. Easy does it. Now just click, drag, boom, click this thing, drag it in, delete this one, and now you'll probably need to boost it a little bit. So I do cut and trim that all the way. And you can do clip and then boost. With putting delays onto your 808s, I feel like there's a little bit of like a weird thing where one side, usually the right ear, pans a little bit more, but like a normal person's ear would not even hear that or care at all. So yeah, you don't really have to worry about that. Sometimes I'll pan it to one side to like kind of compensate, but yeah, this is our 808 as we have it here. So yeah, once you have the 808 completed, remember right click, save as, boom, save to wherever your drum sounds are. So yeah, now we have those completed. Next, what we have is the kick, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna combine two different kicks together. So I have these two kicks right here, and I'm gonna assign these to a mixer, and then I'm gonna assign this to the first mixer, and then I'm going to reset and 808. So yeah, now we have these two kicks. I did a little kick pattern. I'm gonna hit K and then turn all these velocities up. A lot of times with the kick, I don't like to mess with it too much. There's only a few kicks that I really use regularly, but what you can do here is you can go in and you can turn this volume adjustment up just so that it hits harder. And this will not work unless you have a soft clipper on the master, or unless you have a soft clipper on the channels that the kicks are routed to. Because otherwise it's going to destroy your speakers. But yeah, another thing you can do is maybe like pitch it up or down. You might like the way that that sounds, but yeah, for now I think I like just the way these two combine together. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into Edison and the master, boom, boom, got them. And now we're gonna go like this, same procedure, click, drag it in, Alt delete, spacebar, and now we have the same kick here, but obviously it's a little quieter. And then for this one, you don't want to do clip, because if you do clip, it's gonna make it sound like it's like a bomb going off. So yeah, I would do not clip for these ones, but just be careful to probably put in a soft clipper before you play that. But yeah, with the soft clipper, you can play that probably as loud as you want and it'll be thumping. So yeah, once you have that, as we know, the procedure, save as, and then bam, save it to wherever your drum sounds are. So yeah, basically now we have this little pattern going of drum sounds that we have created ourselves. That's pretty epic. Now the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go and make a little open hat. I'm gonna do this one. This is a very common hi-hat. What I'm gonna do with this one actually is something a little bit different. I'm gonna go into the piano roll. Well, actually, I'm gonna go here, and then I'm gonna turn this down, this up, this down, this up, this down. Then I'm gonna do this a little bit, and then I'm gonna do this, because it's panned really far to the right. And now I'm gonna go into the piano roll, and basically what that did is that made it so whatever length that you make this this note in the piano roll, it's gonna last for that long. So as you can see here, if I do a little tiny one, it's gonna sound like this. So I'm gonna put this here, and then I'm gonna click S on my keyboard, and then click this here, drag it, and now it's gonna sound like this. And that sounds pretty epic, I think. If that's all you want to do with the sound, then that's perfectly fine. Basically, my rule of thumb is that most of the time I want to make a sound that is different enough to where it like doesn't sound like everybody else's sounds, but it's not like weird to where you can't use it at all. So yeah, that's just my general rule for me. But for you guys, you can do like literally whatever you want. When creating music, there is no rules. So if you want to change it a little bit, if you want to change it a lot, do whatever you want. No one ever achieved anything by not experimenting. So yeah, back to the video. I assigned the hi-hat to a mixer. Now I'm gonna click on Edison. One thing that I like to do with open hi-hats is I like to go into this phaser and just click a random preset, and it'll sound like this. It kind of gives it a little wider kind of feel. I don't know, it makes it weird. But yeah, then go into your Edison inside of this one and click this and click this. So yeah, now we have our own hi-hat that we made. And go like this, go like this, drag it in, standard procedure. Now we can use this like a normal hi-hat. First, what we want to do is we want to go in, trim, and probably boost it a little bit. And then once you do that, right click, save as, save it to your drum kit. You know the deal, you know the drill. So now we've got this going on. So yeah, that sounds pretty epic if I do say so myself. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to show you how to do is kind of like some drum synthesis stuff. So for all you purists out there, you're going to like this one. So go into Citrus, but yeah, go to default. And now you're going to have, I'm going to turn my piano on. So now you're going to have a sound that sounds like this. But what you want to do is you want to go to this main and then pitch and then go to OP1 and then do this. And now if you don't have headphones on, you probably heard nothing. But if you have headphones on, you probably heard the sub bass. Now what you can do is you can go into volume and then envelope. Just go like this, and you can drag it out like a bit. And for the people without headphones, I'll play it up here. As you can hear, what that did was it brought the volume down like that. So that's a good start. Now what we can do is we can go to the pitch modulation. This is optional. I usually don't like to do this, but wherever I learned this from, this is how I was taught to do it. You can do this and bring this down and pitch it like halfway down. And if you want to do that, go ahead, but I usually don't like doing that. The next important thing that you want to do is basically just experiment with these knobs up here. I like to kind of make it a combination of like kind of a square looking wave and a sine wave. But however you think it sounds good is the way that you should do it. So yeah, basically what we're going to do now is we're going to click Control L and assign this to its own mixer. And now what you can do is you can go into Edison. When you're making 808s from scratch from Citrus, I would definitely recommend putting some Camel Crusher or some distortion or something on it, because it makes it sound a lot better and a lot less cheap sounding. So yeah, that's one tip I have. And then you can also add the fast distortion, or you can add the Destructor if you want to. For this one, I'm just going to add a Camel Crusher because it makes the beginning part kind of hit a little harder. Now I'm going to go into Edison, and if you don't have a MIDI keyboard, you could just place it in here, and that will work just fine. But since I have a MIDI keyboard, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this, and then on the keyboard, I'm just going to click. And you want to make sure that you hold it the whole time, because otherwise it's going to cut out too soon, and you don't want that. So now, our typical procedure, click, drag that bad boy in there, and then now you have it kind of sounding a little quieter. So yeah, now you have just created an 808 from scratch, which is pretty dope. And if you want to, you can make it shorter, or you can boost it a little bit more and clip it so it sounds like really distorted and like a robot noise. But yeah, basically you know the drill. Just as any other sound, you right click, you do save as, save it to your drum kit, and you're on to the next one. So for things like percussion and stuff, there's a few different ways that you can do it. One way that I think is probably the best way to do it is by recording your own sounds, which if you have a microphone, you can literally just do stuff like this and record it, and that will literally make a good percussion sound. All you have to do is just add different effects, pitch it down, pitch it up, do whatever you need to do to make it sound good. But if you don't have a microphone, that's perfectly okay too. You can take certain sounds. Like, let's say I'll take, this is a weird sound, okay? I'm going to turn it into a good percussion. So, it's like this weird kind of sound right now. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the out way up. I'm going to boost it a little bit. And then I'm going to turn this sample start up. Because it kind of sounds like a kick, and I don't want that. And then I pitched it up a little bit. And then I'm going to turn this resonance up. And then I turned this pogo thing to the left, and now I'm going to actually pitch this down again. And now you have a completely unique sound that sounds really weird, but really different as well. Percussion literally could be anything, so whatever your heart desires, just do that. But yeah, I'm going to get rid of this 808 because I'm going to use the one I made before. But yeah, basically we're pretty much completely done now. We've made like one of every sound as far as drums go. And there's some extra stuff like certain like effects or like crashes and stuff. But I'm sure with the knowledge that I've presented you with here today, you'll be able to figure all that out. But yeah, after all our hard work, we have created this dope sounding drum pattern. So So yeah, basically that's gonna about do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learned something. I hope I could help you make your own drum kits and drum sounds now. There will be a link in the description below to my Instagram, SoundCloud, and songs I've produced on Spotify and, you know, Apple Music and YouTube and blah, 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 all that stuff. I recommend you go check that out because there's some dope songs in there, and there will be some more dope songs coming soon. Just keep on the lookout for them. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you next time, brothers and sisters, perhaps.
Cause you know that I'm official. Play with the signs and we put them on a t-shirt. All black, catch